And blessed to be a part of your day, our 8th year of Miller's Mission. We continue on our spring campaign, Clothes for Kids. Coming up, we're going to speak to our friend Ray, but before that, let's go back to Pro-Life at KIDO Talk Radio. Pro-Life, are you there and on the air?
Yes, I am, and this is the best radio station. But anyway...
you didn't really sell that, Pro-Life. You just that seemed like obligatory.
Yeah, well, I mean... of course, it's on my mind, so it must mean something to me.
Yes, your heart would never stray. What can we do for you at KIDO Talk Radio?
Well, the Boise Rescue Mission, they try to get people off of alcohol and drugs, and but that doesn't mean that really rehabilitates people, because you take when people eat a diet of refined sugar, it depletes their endocrine system, their pancreas, and then what happens is they get diabetes, they get other deteriorative diseases, and I just wonder if they have some kind of a regular nutrition program, and I don't think they do, but I would like to hear about it, and they could call me back. I've called them a few times about this.
What's that, for a good time, call Pro-Life?
Yeah, because I've called them, but they don't call me back, but I think there needs to be an organic gardening program.
And you're willing to partner with them to do that?
Yeah, I'd like to talk to them about it. So,
well, all right, Pro-Life. We'll work on that for you.
They need to eat their fruits and vegetables and stay away from sugar.
Well, why don't you? Yes, and I need to stay away from fried chicken.
Yeah, probably.
What's next? You're going to call me fatty?
No, I would never do that.
Yeah, you're fat shaming.
Yeah, no, I don't do that.
Well, you just did.
Well, we love you.
Well, can you say we love you, fatty?
Nope. No.
Please?
No, we don't love your fat. We just love you.
No, I didn't say love my fat. I said we love you, fatty. It's a term of endearment.
No, I'm not going to do that. That'd be too obvious or whatever.
I'm giving you permission. We love you, fatty.
All right. Let's just go to Tom Munz here.
No, you're not going to say that, huh?
No.
You're no fun.
I'm a real stick in the mud.
We would call you a skinny.
Yeah, well.
I'd say we love you, skinny.
All right, you can.
Back when we were lifting weights, we'd call people like you pencils.
Yeah, I know. Well, they used to call me Bones. I didn't. That was my name.
We'd say we love you, Bones.
Yeah, I signed my school papers, my checks were Bones. Everything was Bones.
I could see that, Bones. Yeah.
When I was in the newspaper, for playing basketball, it said Bones Richardson scored 12 points or whatever,
Well, something that's very compelling. Thank you, Pro-Life.
All right, we'll see you.
Joining us now, Tom Munz, TomMunz.com, Munz Tom Twitter. It's been a while, Tom Munz.
Yeah, it's been a while. Good morning, Kevin. This is the greatest radio show. How's that? Is that better?
Well, thank you. KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. You sound a little muffled.
Yeah, well, I was trying a wireless thing because I'm at the gym. How's it working for me? Not?
Well, it's okay. What can we do for you?
Well, I had a thought, and I was listening to the young man on the radio this morning about, the California and all the things that are going on over here, and I wanted to leave everybody with a little bit of a thought, if that would be okay, and that's that, people are moving here. People are moving here because they're tired of other places, but they've got to remember that their lack of involvement in their civic duty is what brought on that change. And so for people that are moving here from California, although it may cause some frustration for Idahoans seeing everybody here, which I can attest to because I travel around quite a bit, what I would suggest to these people is getting involved in their civic duty to try to train these people that are coming here from out of state why they left. And if they do not get involved, and try to preserve, coming to going to be turning out just like what they left. And this should actually be a motivational factor for people in Idaho to say, oh my gosh, we've got a whole other political dynamic. I mean, it really will change the entire face of politics in Idaho if we're not careful, and we've already seen that already. The other part is that it might end up upsetting the establishment. So to that degree, I'm all about that. But this is a very, very volatile situation here, especially when we had the amount of increase, in Democratic voters this year. Yeah, the Republicans are actually so frustrated with Otter Light being in again that now they're actually considering voting for Democrat. I can't tell you how dangerous that is. When Trevor Loudon actually came out and wrote an article about Paulette Jordan, calling her a crypto communist. Now, she's beautiful, she's sharp, she's articulate.
She's okay. I don't know about that.
Well,
she's very smart. I don't know about, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. But I think I'm a good-looking guy, so where am I?
Well, I'm just
Why are
saying
you laughing, Kelsey? That's not funny. And I'm sorry, Tom Munns. That was an attempt at humor.
Hi,
Yeah, I
Tom.
know.
How are you?
Okay,
Well, I'm
okay.
good, man. Well, I just wanted to put that out there and say that, we're still out here moving and grooving. We're still out here being as active as possible to try to,
You just went from
anything.
Paulette Jordan to Hi Kelsey, and then that just kind of blew your whole mind there. Tom, you need to get back to the mission of the call. What are you calling about?
I just wanted to call and just ride on the guy's coattails about what he was talking about the.
But you went then to Paulette Jordan and the commies.
Paulette Jordan is a crucial part of the upcoming Idaho politics with the information coming out of public school, teaching globalism, teaching socialism, teaching all of these different kinds of things. And when you combine what the kids are learning in their education here, what the adults are learning through the media, and the demographic of this California demographic coming here, we now have a target on our forehead if we didn't have one before, and that's really the point I'm trying to make.
I totally agree with you, but look, the Republicans, you got 4 or 5 times the Republicans than you do the Democrats. You have Brad Little, whether you like him or not, or the people that back him, whether you like him or not, they will have a field day with Mrs. Jordan. If they can take down Congressman Labrador and Dr. Ahlquist, 2 highly known and highly funded folks, it will not even be close in the general election.
Well, I think if we're not careful, that there's going to be a surprise that's going to be turning Idaho politics around. I would personally like to go after Otter Pack and question the legitimacy and the ethical nature of them being able to fix elections, which ultimately it would appear that this thing does.
Well, they didn't fix elections. They put their money where their mouth is. What did our founders write about factions? What did they write about the fact that the collective, when they can put their money together somehow, and their whole point of creating that is to make sure that their people stay in. And what does that say? That's the way for everybody, though.
Well, it's still not right, and it still should be questioned.
But that's the system, Tom. That's the system.
It's not. I would say that it is the system. It's the contorted system. It's the screwed up system. It's the one system that we allow. That
has worked for years.
People like the establishment. Well, it's working to maintain neoconservatism. It's not when you start walking into constitutionalists and you start, trying to put liberty people in. Liberty people may slip in once in a while, but you know this as well as I do by looking at the Trump campaign where Trump got in and everybody thought Hillary had won, including me. And so the point is just because things are right or things have always been done a certain way doesn't mean they're right. And just because we're Republican doesn't mean that we're a liberty-minded state.
Fair enough, Tom Munns. Anything else?
Thanks for the call. Thanks for allowing me to talk this morning.
Well, don't be a stranger and get back to that workout.
Are you there all day?
Yeah, thanks for listening. I'm here till Saturday at 6. Yes, sir.
I know. I just wanted to hear it. I just wanted to hear you say it because I was going to come visit if I can. So.
Please do.
All right. Cool. Talk to you later.
Thank you. The great Tom Munns. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Earlier we were talking about a lady that lost it at McDonald's. Now you've got another issue. What is it with people in McDonald's?
2 national advocacy groups are teaming up to lodge sexual harassment complaints against McDonald's on behalf of 10 female workers in 9 cities who allege groping, indecent exposure, and lewd comments by supervisors. The women say that their complaints were ignored or mocked, and in some cases they suffered retaliation. The legal effort, organized by Fight for 15 and the Time's Up Legal Defense Fund, McDonald's says there's no place for harassment or discrimination of any kind in the workplace. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
There we have it, Jeff Manasso. So again, apparently McDonald's under fire. If you didn't hear this, also what happens when you don't get your way at the drive-thru?
Cops in Albany, New York say a woman flew off the handle last weekend at a McDonald's over an order of small fries. When it took too long to get them, they say she got angry, real angry. Workers told her that she could park her car and they'd bring them to her, but she wasn't all that patient. She began screaming, cursing them out, even tossed a slushie at the window. Police say that she then parked her car, ran inside the restaurant and said, "I'm coming back for you," then made her way back to the drive-thru window and pulled a gun on the manager. They say she left the scene without the food. Ken Duffy, Fox News.
Yeah, that's not good. Really, as much as we love the food and the McDonald's and everything else, look, if they're going to give you a small fry, just take the small fry. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. KIDO Talk Radio, Kevin Miller in the morning here. Ray Carlton joining us, New Life Program Manager. Ray, good to have you back.
Yeah, good to be here. Good morning.
So we take a look at the folks coming into your program. For people that have just moved into the Treasure Valley, they may not know about the Boise Rescue Mission. Can you share some light on what the mission of the mission is?
Our whole mission is to help restore lives and get people back into independent living, and that's the goal. No matter what that looks like, what level of economical or social status, it doesn't matter. If it's addiction-related or mental health-related, we provide or make sure that we have the case management to get people all the help or services that are needed to help restore their life.
And Doug in Mountain Home, we're going to go to you, and then we'll go back to Ray here at KIDO Talk Radio. Doug, good morning. And Doug hung up. That's the second day in a row that Doug has hung up, but that's more time with Ray. Ray, why do you dedicate yourself, your life, to helping others get themselves back when you could be more focused on yourself?
Well, I think it's good for me. Service work is part of what I like to do. I myself am a recovering addict, and I have 22 years of sobriety. But I chose to be in this profession because there were good quality people helping me get back on track and restore my life. And I just wanted to find a way to give back and do the same thing for others and give them a chance. For
people that may feel like they've lost control, that there isn't help, what would you say to them?
I'd say that there is help. We offer multiple levels of help at the Boise Rescue Mission for men, women, and children. And one of the things that we have a New Life program. And that's for women with children at City Lights and Valley Women's Shelter in Nampa. And then we have the New Life program at ROL in Boise and Lighthouse in Nampa as well for men.
Sure, but I mean, to make that first step, what would you say to someone?
I'd say give us a call. Come see us. Come see what we're all about. The other thing is if you're unsure, I say get in contact with somebody with the Boise Rescue Mission and just to see if there's anything we can do to help you.
And the donations, what do they mean?
The donations mean everything for what we're doing because we're solely operated on our donations and what the community does to support us. Donations mean that kids get meals, families can get meals, we feed families, we do whatever. But it goes to cover all the costs incurred for housing and everything else for a 12 to 18-month inpatient substance use treatment programs.
Traffic and weather together at KIDO Talk Radio. So, Ray, what's it like to be on the receiving end of these donations when you're in processing? And, again, these local donations change lives right here in the Treasure Valley, and you're on the front lines of that. What's it like?
What I see it that it instills pride in people. It helps restore their pride and their confidence, but also their self-esteem comes back. And once you start working on that, then you start restoring lives.
Without naming any names, is there anybody that comes to mind when you think of all your years of helping folks?
Yeah, there's several people come to mind. I've had several people in my life, and then we've got several men that we get to work with that are inspirational to me now because they've changed through this process.
Can you describe that transformation from being without hope to inspiring others?
Well, the best way to describe it is they go from being a broken person to a whole person. They have a relationship with the Lord now. They're focused, they're driven, but they also have realistic goals, and they're actually doing the work, being productive members of society, doing whatever it takes to get back on track. We get some of the guys that have children, and this is the world to them, is to be able to be fathers again and to have their kids back in their life. And we've helped men get custody of their kids, but we've also watched men be able to just be fathers to where they earn the respect and love and trust from their adult children as well.
Finally, how important it is to have a relationship with God, with Christ? What is that? Can you define that in your life?
In my life, it was the center. I needed a relationship with God in order to have a relationship with anybody else. And once I established that, then I started forming relationships that were meaningful and that had more base to them than just surface issues. I was able to appreciate people for who they were and what they were instead of what I wanted or what I expected.
Ray, great job as always.
Thank you for allowing me to come share with you guys this morning.
Appreciate you. Thank you, sir. God bless.
Thank you, and God bless you.
Close for Kids continues here at the Walmart here at KIDO Talk Radio. We're joined by our friend Kelsey, who joins us to talk a little bit more about, we haven't really focused on the kids today, but that's why we're here. Clothes for Kids, also tax-deductible donations, non-perishable food items, clothes, and, of course, cash.
Yeah, when we were talking with Ray, and we talked about, does anyone come to mind? And, behind all these articles of clothing and the food that we're giving away are these teenagers. And I can think of an in particular teen this year. We do a lot of activities with the teens. We went to Winter Jam, and he got saved. And it was this awesome moment where he accepted the Lord. And I've watched him grow from then. I had someone come and speak at a teen night about overcoming sexual abuse, and he stepped up and said, this has happened to me too. He's since been in counseling. He's decided he's going to be a Marine. And each year, so this is my second year having him in teen group, each year, that goal has become bigger. And just seeing him be a beacon of light to the other kids, and it's just one of many kids behind the clothes that they're donating today, behind the funds that we're receiving.
What do these kids need the most of? Is it love? Is it attention? I mean, this is your ministry. Very close to your heart is, you and I joke over the years, we've got to know each other twice a year, being here at the Walmart with all of our zany adventures, but then you go back to working with these kids that mean so much to you.
It's because they mean so much to Jesus. They mean so much to him. And when you watch them realize that, and they can do anything they want with their life just because their parents are homeless, just because no one in their family's gone to school, because they live in poverty, doesn't mean that is their story. Their story is going to be whatever that they put their minds to. And that's what we do in Teen Group, is just pour into them, believe in them, and in turn, they begin to believe in themselves. And we're seeing real results.
And this is where you can help us make a difference. Please stop by. Donate today. I want to thank Craig who stopped by. I want to thank so many of you that stopped by yesterday. Hopefully we'll see our friend the Miniger brothers and so many others to make a difference. We are here at the Walmart till Saturday at 6 o'clock. We'll be here tonight till 7. I'll be here living all week long, thanks to Team Mazda, Subaru, Camping World, and the Boise Rescue Mission. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie. And let's go to Rachel Sutherland, live on Capitol Hill, Fox News Radio on KIDO Talk Radio. Rachel, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Kevin.
Boy, the plot continues to thicken. We've got Mueller on this. Now we've got allegations that the Department of Justice to investigate the FBI's alleged surveillance of the Trump campaign. Just when we thought that election couldn't get any bigger, oh my.
Yeah, and now there's some congressional Republicans that are calling for the appointment of a second special counsel, so you can see dueling special counsels here in Washington. And this comes as it looks like White House Chief of Staff John Kelly has agreed to bring congressional leaders in, along with top law enforcement and intelligence officials, to look at highly classified and other documents regarding this claim of an informant working on the Trump campaign. What is concerning to the Trump White House is that this may have been done for, quote, political purposes. And I think it's going to come down to intent. But that name out there has been floating around as this informant. I'm not going to use it, but the Washington Post even used it today. But it reminded me, Kevin, of the whole situation with Valerie Plame in the Bush administration and her outing. And we just don't know much about this guy, and his name is already out there. What was his role? How secret? How classified? And it might be time for a little caution, but it appears that so far, that caution's being thrown to the wind.
It is the world that we live in today, unfortunately, Rachel. And can you really get to the bottom of this? I suppose the resources of the administration are unlimited, going back to what was investigated, who was investigated, and why, and the impact it could have on the special prosecutor.
Absolutely. There are a lot of questions as to why this was done, exactly the timing of it in correlation with when did the Russia investigation begin, what was the basis. There's been a lot of discussion about the FISA court application to allow spying on Carter Page and the role of the dossier and all of that. It really looks like to me like two conspiracy theories side by side, and who are you going to believe? It's just, that's what it's come down to. Both sides have ideas as to what went on during the 2016 campaign, one being that a nation state tried to interfere and collude with the Trump campaign. The other is saying that the FBI, the DOJ, the quote-unquote deep state, tried to bring down a presidential candidate unsuccessfully, but tried to.
It's something that you would see in Homeland, but even fiction can't keep up with the facts or the alleged facts that are permeating out of Washington.
Totally cannot. This is one of those situations where it is like a miniseries unfolding, but the script isn't written in advance. We don't know what's going to happen. But it appears that they're moving forward with plans to at least look at these classified documents. I think at this point, some people are saying, well, it's an abuse of presidential power to direct the Justice Department to look into this kind of thing. But, and it hasn't been done before, but this whole time is unprecedented. We've got reality at stake here, and I think that people want to see, or think that their leadership should at least see, what went on. Lay it all out there to the origins of the Russia probe. Again, as one side would argue, if you got nothing to hide, let's just go ahead and see what were the origins, how did it happen, and a complete timeline of this so that the American public can truly understand.
Right, and then we have people lobbying back and forth. Rudy Giuliani saying that the special counsel could submit his report by September if the president agrees to a conversation, a Q&A with Robert Mueller in July. Again, it's almost impossible to keep up, and you're at the epicenter of it all.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, that came out. Giuliani said that Mueller told him that, or this came up during negotiations for this sit-down. I've heard others say that this report is not true. But look, even if that September 1 deadline were met, my understanding is it would just be simply the obstruction of justice plank of the investigation, not the entire thing wrapping up. Who knows? And then if there's a second special counsel, how long could that take? And then you'll have these two separate reports and the American public looking at both of them and deciding which one to believe.
Rachel Sutherland, as always, to be continued.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, ma'am. We're here at the Walmart in Nampa. Kevin Miller in the morning at KIDO Talk Radio. Ricky joining us now. Guest Services Assistant Manager. Ricky, good to have you back.
Well, good morning, Kevin Miller, and good morning to all the Treasure Valley listeners.
And your thoughts on the spring and the summer for the Boise Rescue Mission. What does it mean?
Well, it means that we have a lot of people that are out there that need help. Sunscreen and coming in for some liquid refreshments and things like that, and clothes for the kids are a big benefit.
Indeed. What is it like, though, when people are checking in?
Okay, well, when they check in, guest services is basically the baseline of the mission.
Sure.
So we would like to welcome them and let them know that there's a safe place to stay. They have a roof over their head. And when we can provide food, shelter, and clothing for them, that tends to make them feel open. And so when we do an assessment, maybe in a day or two, we can really find out how we can help them most.
What are you seeing for people coming in?
Well, they come from all walks of life. Many people have drug and alcohol addictions that have destroyed relationships with their relatives, with their friends, and they just have nowhere else to turn to. And there's also people that have gone through divorce or have gone through bad choices of their own or from other people that have affected their lives. They just need help. They need some guidance and direction.
And what about you?
What about me?
Why do you do this?
Okay, basically I worked at Micron for 24 years, and then I went on a long-term mission trip to Bolivia, South America. While I was there, I felt like God was speaking to me that when I went back to the United States that I would no longer work for Micron, making microchips, which was very interesting, but that I would directly work with people.
It's quite a transformation.
It is, and I learned it through an orphan girl. We volunteered at an orphanage in Bolivia, South America, and there was a 6 or 7-year-old girl that did not know how to ride a bike. And somebody had donated some bicycles to the orphanage, and I just simply, asked her if she'd like to learn how to ride the bike. And she was very scared, very frightened, but I just sat her on there and pushed her around for a couple days, and eventually one day she took off on her own, and the smile from ear to ear was just priceless. And when she looked at me, I saw in her eyes that there was somebody that was not her real dad that cared for her as he was her real dad. And I felt like she loved me as a dad. And it was at that point that God said, you're going to work for people, with people, not making microchips.
And when you take a look at the kids here in the Treasure Valley that are impacted by the donations that we're asking for.
Well, I'll tell you what, the donations are totally impacting the children. I'll tell you a really quick story. When I was a child, I grew up in a family of 8 children. Raised by a single mother. There was stepfathers in and out of our lives, but there was one Christmas in particular. I was about 7 years old, and we had nothing under the tree. And I said, Mom, where's the presents? And this was like a week before Christmas. And she said, don't worry, son, God will provide. Well, about 3 days later, there was still no presents under the tree, and I said, Mom, there's not a single present under the tree. And she said, son, do not be anxious, God will provide. Christmas morning showed up, and there was no presents under the tree. And I saw a concerned look on her face, like she was wondering if there was going to be no presents. And that's when a fire truck showed up at our house. 2 burly firemen got out, each of them grabbing a trunk with a rope handle, and they carried it into our house, and it was full of presents. And that Christmas showed me that those firemen, they didn't buy those gifts, but they took the time to deliver them to a family in need. And the people that bought those gifts did not know us. They did not know my mom. They did not know us. But they simply cared for people that they did not know. And to me, that impacted my life, saying, hey, somebody cares about me. They may not be my relative. They may not be somebody I know, but they care about families in need. And that's what we do when we impact the kids at our mission. When you give, when you donate your time, when you do anything, that child's going to know that there's people that care for them.
And you can do that, BoiseRM.org, or stop by here. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Kevin, I wanted to thank you especially for a couple things. First of all, for your voice on the air as you represent many of the people that are needy, many of the organizations, but I also want to thank you for your actions. I seen you one day at the Rescue Mission Warehouse, and you were donating some things. And then I saw you also at some of the events that we go to, for example, that we put on like the Christmas and the Thanksgiving holiday banquets, and you were not doing a radio show. You were simply there to share with the public and wish them a Merry Christmas or a Happy Thanksgiving. I appreciate your actions.
Well, Ricky, I love just watching you guys in action. God bless you, sir.
God bless you, too.
Great story. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio.
So Teen Job Corps is a program that's offered by Boise Rescue Mission for teens who are old enough to work, that they're able to get job skills. First of all, they're placed somewhere within the mission that they get to do part-time work. So they get job skills working as administrative assistants in the kitchen with the kids, and they get to earn a little bit of money. And so it teaches them responsibility, job skills, to be able to respect authority. They touch on resume writing and stuff really young with the kids. So those things are huge. The kids go swimming, I think, twice a week. I think Mondays and Wednesdays they go to the pools in the area, the YMCA, the Boise City public pools, and that's part of kids' program that kids are in that program from 8 to 4 while moms work. So the moms that are in the Valley Women and Children's Shelter, as well as City Light, and my kids too. And it's a huge money saver to be able to have the kids go to kids program and not have to pay that $700 a month in childcare costs that arise when school ends. And some kids just don't have those things, those flip-flops or, beach towels or swimsuits. And when they come into kids program, they make sure that every kid has what they need to do the activity that's planned for the day. So every child is fitted in a swimsuit and flip-flops and a beach towel. So they're ready to go swimming or to camp with their swimsuit or whatever the activity is for the day. That is one of the most amazing feelings ever, and I wish everybody in the community could see a child's face light up when they get brand new Nikes or they get a brand new outfit. And some of the children that we work with rarely ever get stuff that is brand new. So to see how excited that they get and to hear the giggle in their laugh, and they're bouncing around and they're super excited and they run up to their parents and they're like, "Mommy, mommy, mommy, look at my shoes." It's something that I think people take for granted if you're able to give that stuff to your kids. Again, I just wish that there are two faces that I wish that everybody could see. One is the face of a mom when she gets told that her kids can go to kids program and she doesn't have to pay that $700 a month. And the other one is the face of the child when they get that brand new outfit and shoes. That's huge when mom receives a new life, because not only does she improve in her parenting skills and her ability to raise her kids and break the cycle of poverty and homelessness, but kids, they get stability and they get happiness and they get things that they didn't know before: regular bedtimes, love, a situation that's not yelling and stress about food and clothing. And you see it in our shelters when moms come in and they're stressed out about the next meal or how they're going to get school supplies or how they're going to pay for childcare. And then as they start to receive these things and they understand that the mission is walking alongside them, that things start to come down. It comes down a level and they're not angry and they're not anxiety. And that we're able to bring new skills to them, skills about recovery, parenting classes, and things that they need to develop to get better.
And there we have it, one of the many voices from the Boise Rescue Mission. Good morning, Kevin Miller here, Miller's Mission. As we as we are with you every step of the way, phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Coming up, what not to do on a plane, but more importantly, please help us help local Treasure Valley families. Donate today. Join our friend Craig and others who have stopped by and made a difference. We so appreciate your great work. Traffic and weather together.
When Frontier Flight 864 left Denver on Thursday bound for Charleston, passengers tell us it started out perfectly normal. But 2 hours in, she says she woke up to this.
I hear a woman scream, "If this man touches me one more time, I'll kill him."
She says a drunk man grabbed the woman sitting next to him.
He was out of his mind. Like, he couldn't speak. He was mumbling. This man was extremely intoxicated.
The flight crew reportedly moved him to the back.
They told me to move over a little bit just in case he tries to reach over and grab me.
That's when she says her flight turned into a nightmare.
He starts to pee and urinate on the seat in front of him.
Yeah, exactly. Ashley Michaels reporting at KIDO Talk Radio. And I don't know, it just seems like we've lost our collective minds, whether it's traffic on Eagle Road or Chinden or on the connector. Then we have a man who was so intoxicated, and this story is trending right now, that he urinated on the seat in front of him. Yes, exactly. I don't know what's going to happen to him. He's going to be detained. And here he's allegedly grabbing this woman and trying to have his way with her. What are people thinking? And just whether it's stress, whether it's cholesterol, whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, I don't know. You know, we seem to have lost our collective minds when it comes to individual space and privacy and such. Like the other day, I went to a phone store, and I walk in, and I go, "Whoa, this is a nice place." And the guy goes, "Hey, buddy, blah, blah, blah." I said, "Well, I do this." He goes, "What are you doing today?" I go, "I'm paying my bill." And then he says, "What do you do for a living?" And then finally I said to him, I go, "You're a nosy guy. I'm here to pay my bill. What's it to you, buddy?" "Well, your phone is out of date." I go, "You know what my phone is? It's called Paid For." And it just kept going. He seemed like a nice guy, but it was like, give me some space, please. And, obviously the days of the judo chop are long ago for me, but my goodness gracious, the idea that you just can't have some one-on-one with someone when you just want to pay your bill. You just want to pay your bill. "So what do you do for a living?" "I work in media." "Really? What kind of media?" I go, "Look, buddy, just pay my bill, please. Just let me move on." "Well, you don't have to be grouchy." "I'm not grouchy, Timmy. But, Timmy, please let me pay my bill and move on, unless you're going to buy something from me." "Well, your phone there, I'm surprised it's still working." "Well, like I said, sir, it's called paid off. It's called paid for. Would you like to pay for my new phone? Then I'm not interested." When will these people just give us a flippin' break? And then, thankfully, when we cut costs and do everything else, like this poor woman on a plane, this guy taking a wee, how would you like to be that person? Or the person in the seat next to you? You think you got issues? You got nothing to worry about. Now, there's a bundle of joy for you this morning. More coming up next. KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning.